When I first stepped foot into Chesterton Academy as a freshman, I knew immediately that it would change my life forever. Now, I'm sure it would make for an amazing speech if I could say that. Unfortunately, that would be a lie. In fact, when I first stepped into Chesterton Academy, I probably thought something like, wow, this looks pretty much the same as every Catholic school I've attended for the last 13 years of my life. And I considered myself very well qualified to make that observation. As the daughter of a Catholic school principal and teacher, I had spent more time hanging around the halls of Catholic schools than most people I know. And I had gathered quite a lot of information from that time. Like the fact that the carpeted classrooms are the best place to take a nap while your mom finishes grading her papers. Or that, if you're lucky, you might find a stray popsicle hidden in the back of the freezer in the teacher's lounge. Armed with these valuable pieces of information, I thought there wasn't much that Catholic high school could do for me that I hadn't seen before. I was solid enough in my faith. After all, hadn't I heard countless talks and testimonies at school retreats? Didn't I attend theology classes and go to Mass every day? So I waltzed into my freshman year, thinking it would be smooth sailing. And back then, I thought it was. I was keeping on top of my schoolwork and making new friends, but the stakes had gotten higher. My parents were no longer at school with me to watch my behavior. Temptations occurred frequently, and they became more and more appealing. C.S. Lewis once said, "The safest road to hell is the gradual one, the gentle slope, soft underfoot, without sudden turnings, without milestones, without signposts." The path that I began to follow freshman and sophomore year was indeed gradual. I slowly began to push my faith to the side. Not in one big leap, nor in one dramatic moment. In fact, I myself didn't even realize what was happening. I found myself walking up to communion to receive Jesus Christ himself and thinking of what I would wear for the next more formal than normal on the way up. It can be surprising how quickly a person who has been told what is good their entire life can forget everything they've heard. As I continued down this path, I became less and less satisfied with my life. Ideas of success swirled around in my brain. I kept God on the side, holding him at arm's length, ready to bring him close whenever I couldn't define my own worth, but making sure he wasn't there to steal the show when I managed to gain some semblance of my ideas of success. Inevitably, my attempts to capture this success were in vain. Nevertheless, I tried and tried, finding a new excuse for my failure with every endeavor. Albert Einstein defined insanity as doing something over and over, expecting different results each time. I practiced this with enthusiasm. Luckily, my attempts at success in school required paying attention, so I did this in all my classes. Little did I know that it was almost impossible to sit through one of Dr. Chastik's theology classes and come out with a heart untouched. Furthermore, with the albatross of class participation hanging about my neck, I found myself obligated to challenge and discuss what we learned in theology. I found that the more I learned about these theological foundations, and the more objections my classmates and I threw at them, the more solid and invincible they became. You see, I was beginning to realize what would slowly reveal itself to me during the rest of my high school experience. That Chesterton Academy does not just tell you about the Catholic faith, they prove it to you. This theology class was just the beginning of this revelation. I soon began to see glimpses of God's presence intertwined throughout the entire curriculum. In literature, God could be found at the core of almost every book we read, whether at the center of Dante's Paradise or the missing piece in Frankenstein's Search for Divinity. I discovered God in philosophy and theology classes, where we asked questions that made us sound like heretics in order to better understand his mysteries. Within the arts, I saw beauty that could only have come from divinity. As my mind started to turn towards God, my heart could not help but follow. But it is not just the teachers who make up a school. it is also the students. And since freshman year, our senior class has grown to become a truly extraordinary group of people. A group of people without whom I would have never been encouraged to let my heart turn towards God. Through girls' small groups, theological discussions at Lyceum, quick prayers before tests, and simple acts of kindness, I felt Christ's love like never before. The vast majority of Chesterton students are students like me. Students who went through their high school years with nothing extraordinary or remarkable happening on the outside. In my experience, however, the path to heaven can be just as gradual as that to hell. Although I spent my entire life being told what the Catholic faith was, it was my time at Chesterton Academy that moved this knowledge from my head to my heart. I have realized that success isn't everything, that ultimately God is what will make me happy. I've realized that knowledge is a gift, that reason is what makes us human, and that the use of it brings us closer to God. Chesterton Academy has given me more than I ever expected. It has given me the confidence in my faith to lay my foundation in God. Thank you.